Hey there friends, Nibs again. Out here in the garage today, doing a little bit of goofing around. I got something a little bit different for you guys, something pretty cool. This is kind of just a first shaking out, seeing if it works. I am going to be putting it to the test over at the other garage where I do some of my shooting and videos. But what I have here is a diesel heater sent to me by Vevor. This one is one of their bigger ones, and it's listed as like an 8 kilowatt, which I did some conversion on that, and it actually will go up to 27,000 BTUs, and that is adjustable. And so we're going to do a little bit of testing with it here today. Um, I'm just basically going to show you the setup of it right now. I'm going to bring it down on the floor here and put some fuel in it, and we'll test it for a quick minute and make sure it starts putting out heat and everything. But we're going to do a much more thorough review. This is just kind of a setup video. Do a much more thorough review over at the other garage. But we have here a fill cap, and this will hold, I believe, like a gallon of fuel. And what I've seen recommended, and I actually did it myself, but I'm going to show you. You want to take that fuel cap off, and a lot of people have, and I didn't experience this myself, but a lot of people have found things loose inside that needed to be tightened up before. And I think it's pretty prudent anyway, with something like this that's going to be burning diesel fuel or any kind of fuel. Could catch a fire. You might want to just double check everything before you start putting it into use. But lift this cover off. Very simple unit, really. Fuel tank takes up most of the room. It does have a DC whip out. I do have a 12-volt power supply over here. It's just a small one from a customer was disposing of some radio equipment, and I grabbed that 12-volt power supply from them, but it'll work out perfect for this. But we have the combustion chamber down below here, and I'll flip it around. You see the other side. So I already attached the muffler and the air intake hose. One thing that's a little wonky on this, but I guess it's just the way it is on a lot of these, is the feet on this is not tall enough. Let me bring you down a little bit. So the feet on this is not tall enough for the way that the exhaust, this is the exhaust pipe, comes out, that it can't sit flat on the floor. So you need to like put a piece of 2x4 or something on here to raise it up enough to get that above the floor. This is the air intake. There's actually an air filter right here. We'll put that on, and we'll see what it sounds like without the muffler. If it sounds like it's too loud, we'll stick that muffler on. But one thing that a lot of people talk about is making sure that this fuel hose here, this is the little fuel pump up in here, that the fuel hose coming out of the tank, the clamps are tight, that the fuel hose coming out of the fuel pump is straight, with no kinks. A lot of people are reporting that their fuel hose has kinks in it. Mine has no kinks in it. So, but let's go ahead and stick the front cover back on, and we'll talk about the control panel real quick. I haven't gotten real well versed in how the control panels work, but it's pretty straightforward to just get it going. There are timers and stuff you can play with on there and stuff. So, gotta make sure you get the cover lined up here so that everything stays in place. There are there's screws sticking down out of these handles, and there's holes in the tops of the end and the front and the back end panel, and you want to have those lined up with those screws coming out of the top. So like I said, I have not taken the time yet to really become familiar with the control panel, but you can set the time and we'll figure that out later. down the road. But basically, to start heating, all you do is hit that button and it starts up, and then you can actually turn your temperature up and down with these up and down arrows. And for our initial test here, I think that's really all we need to be real concerned with. So I'm going to turn it off for now because I don't want to I don't want to have it fire up with no fuel in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the camera, and the next view you see will be me down on the ground. I have a set of just some paver blocks right now because I didn't have a piece of 2x4 to screw onto here at the house right quick. But I'm going to set it on these paver blocks so we can fire it up, and I'll just put a little bit of fuel in there. Don't need a lot, but just enough to get it firing and see if we can get some heat coming out of it. So stand by.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alrighty, I am down here, down low to the ground. I didn't want to fire it up on the bench there and possibly be around some combustibles, but I have some fire bricks. Before I move you down, I have some fire bricks down here. So, and it's a concrete floor, so there's no combustibles here. This garage is pretty well ventilated, so there's no big risk. We're only going to run it for a couple of minutes here of me getting carbon monoxide out. If I was going to run it for any length of time out here, I definitely would want to run the exhaust outside. But let's go ahead and just get you more focused on the unit itself, and we'll just turn it on. And, I think it runs through a little bit of a self-check. After a minute or two, we should start to hear, and I haven't tried it, so I'm really not sure what it's going to do, but we should start hearing the little fuel pump start to tick. But it takes a minute or two. If it takes more than a minute or so, I'll fast forward or cut out the part until it starts putting heat out and let you know how much it was. While we're waiting for that, it does come with a remote control. So if you had this sitting outside, and then it does actually come with a little piece of 3-inch dryer hose that you can run. It's not very long. You could get a longer one and attach it on there too, to run inside of a tent or a camper or something like that. But it does have this just turn it up to full level. Oh, there it goes. Just you hear that ticking noise. That's the actual fuel pump going. As it's when it's first starting out, it's going to pump more, but once it starts getting up to temperature, it'll only tick every once in a while as it's pulling a little bit of heat in. Just waiting here, feel a little bit of heat coming out of the actual exhaust here. So there's two metal pipes coming out of the bottom, and the front one is actually the exhaust, and then the rear one is the air intake. All right, sounds like it's starting to spool up a little bit. You hear the fan starting to rev up. It takes a few minutes for it to get itself going. I can actually feel a little bit of heat coming off the exhaust now. There it goes. Okay. Now I can really feel the heat coming out of the exhaust. and I can already start to feel the heat coming out of here. When a couple other reviews that I've seen, once this thing gets up to real temperature, you can't even hold your hand in front of that. It's putting out so much heat. But, it's not very loud. I was really assuming that exhaust was going to be a lot louder based on the. You can hear the ticking noise is really slowed down quite a bit. I did turn that down, but it's kicking out some really nice heat now. I I used to have a thermal gauge when I was doing RC cars for measuring the engine temperature, but that's long since gone. So, but it is kicking out some nice heat. I think it's going to be really nice. Be a nice little space heater right there next to me when I'm over at that other garage. 27,000 BTUs. That's quite a bit of. Yeah, it's getting. Can't hardly keep my hand in front of that now. And it's only been a minute or two that we've been running this test. So, but, I won't keep you guys too much longer, but I wanted to give you an initial look at this guy. The next video I do will be over at that other garage, and the reason I haven't done more with it, we've actually had a pretty good heat wave. I've had this thing for about a week now, but we've had actually a pretty good heat wave going. Oh yeah, it's really kicking out some heat. It's going to be really nice. Um, so I would, over there at the other garage, I would probably put a little board down and run this pipe out underneath the garage door, and uh, and then just have this heat being pumped inside. But let me bring you up here real quick. So it does have a timer, so you can set it for turn on, turn off, that sort of thing. But I think it's going to be a really pretty cool product. It's not loud at all. I think even doing my air gun videos, I mean, if you hear that little ticking noise in the back, is that really going to bother you? I don't think so, because this noise coming out of the exhaust will be going outside underneath the door. So the only thing you would hear is that the ticking noise of the. Let's see, turn it all the way down. What it does really slows the fan down, and it slows the pump down even more. But then you can click off, and so it will run through. It'll slowly turn itself down. Don't unplug it until it's completely done working its way down, because there's actually a burn down timer cycle in there, and you don't want to, until it's actually done running and the fan shuts off itself, you don't want to unplug it from your whatever power supply you're using. So I have read that can cause damage to these. So but there you go. That is really pretty cool. And I thank Vevor for sending this over to me. Very inexpensive. I will leave a link down below in the description to let you guys know where to get it. And if you buy it using that link, I will get a commission on that. Um, but so far, I think it's a pretty cool product. I'm not doing this for the commission. I actually had been shopping around for some sort of heater for a while now to bring over there to that garage. I just hadn't made a decision whether I wanted to go fuel oil or propane or whatever. And my contact at Vevor, I don't know how he would have known, but he contacted me, asked me if I would do a review for them on this product. So we're just getting it started, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. Hope you guys liked the video. Till next time, have a great day.